Hey LinkedIn, I'm here with Pietari Suvanto from Vainu, a startup gathering data on corporations and helping its customers turn that data into insights and opportunities for sales and marketing. Hey Pietari.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. It's great to be here on a Monday morning with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's this time to be most excited.
So how about, for the benefit of the viewers, Vainu, in a few words, and sort of how this all came to be. I mean, you guys have been around for, 3 years now?
3 years, yeah, more or less.
So,
there's 3 founders, which I'm one, then there is Mikko and Thomas. Actually it all started, you could say, from the elementary school, so we're friends from I think almost 30 years, 25 years back. And how this whole idea actually came about, having a solution for prospecting and sales intelligence was that Mikko and me, we worked for a global SaaS company in sales roles, in very many sales roles, and there weren't any ways to prospect and find insights about the companies we want to work with or are working with already. So we thought that this must be something that you could put into a product, because it's also, prospecting is a very automated, not automated, but a very manual and structured process, and when it's like that, it can be automated very easily. So then we took on, we know Thomas, of course, he's one of the best people around technology and product that we knew, obviously, so then we took him on board and started to craft a MVP, and from there it started.
Yes, and you came up with the MVP. When was that? That would have been 2015, was it?
No, actually 2014. So you were our first customer, and I've been talking in various occasions about Vainu, and in spring 2014 when you came on board, we really didn't have a product at all. So our product was a PowerPoint, and you were one of the 10 companies that were bold enough to subscribe to a good looking idea, and I really thank you for that. It was one of great moments of my professional career, definitely. So again, thank you. But
happy to hear that. Yeah. But I have to say that when I saw those PowerPoints, it was because that was something I'd been struggling with. I mean, as a salesman, then head of sales, head of marketing, I've been struggling with prospecting and how crucial it is that the prospects are of good quality.
Yeah,
because if that goes wrong, then the rest of the sales process is wasted time. It's just money and time down the drain. Yeah. So the idea you guys had, that convinced me, and I wanted to see if there was something to it.
Yeah. And I think when we look at the sales technology space, more specifically like CRM space, and that the problem, it's always in a startups, and you always talk about the problem you are solving, but the sales technology space, they pretty much solve the problem of sales process. So once you have an opportunity, what do you do with it? You book a meeting, you send a proposal, you see the pipeline. It's all about handling a sales process. And then, I don't know why it's been like that. Probably, I think, because the buyers who buy those products, they are sales directors. They are not or CEOs. They are not directly involved with sales, finding the opportunities. So that's why it be crafted for optimizing the sales process. And I think one crucial part of this whole sales process have been missed, which is where does the future business come from? And I think that's the number one problem we want to solve. So that's the road we're still in.
And how do you solve that for your customers? What Vainu offers?
I think what Vainu really, what it offers, it is what we can say that in our database we have all the organizations in a given market. So you can, for example, in Finland or in Nordics or in Netherlands, we have all the organizations that ever exists in the market you want to sell to. So we can say that all your current companies are there and all your future customers are there. Then it's only about data. How can we collect enough valuable data about those organizations so that we can find where is the most probable next customer or next deal of yours, and that's what we want to solve, is really to utilize a huge amount of data so we can find the most probable place where they need or want to be engaging next. So making in a most typical use case, making the sales prospecting easiest possible way, making the sales prospecting most efficient way, and then taking time away from the manual process of trying to find where should I be contacting next to achieve the most business.
When you talk about it like that, I mean, for somebody who doesn't really know intimately what you do, that sounds like a business directory, right?
In some sense, yeah.
but I've been working with you guys, and I know that it's not just that.
Yeah.
Because you also utilize your customers' data in order to better understand what kind of prospects are right for them. So how did that start, and how do you see that playing into the whole sort of process that you enable?
Yeah, I think that's how that started. Of course, is a lot of, in when you build a business case, you just need to prove that the way how we work, it really brings more business. So it's something that came out of the of course companies that are not yet our customers, and also from our customers. We need to prove them that Vainu really generates sales, and it's really, we're in that journey. We're really we've been doing it, but we're really in the beginning of it. And the main point or main idea there is just that when we can see the whole sort of the sales loop or the sales process, where we can say that this deal was initiated by Vainu, we can apply a lot of. It can be used as a teaching set, so to speak, to understand more about which kind of companies with which kind of data points that can be found from our database converts into business. And with the current tools, as I said, the sales processes, the problem that the sales technologies are solving, the sales process, so that can be very well defined through CRMs, for example, that which kind of opportunities go further on in the pipeline, and which of them have been generated by Vainu. And then, of course, as we learn from that, we can find more opportunities that fit that criteria. So it's an interesting thing, and I think the whole data-driven marketing and sales it's been now for maybe a decade or so, but it's only going to get stronger and better, and I think that's a good market to be in many ways.
Yeah. And anyone who's been watching these videos for a while knows that I'm trying to dig into really practical use cases of the buzzword of one of the buzzwords of the day, which is of course AI, machine learning, neural networks. And I know that you guys have two use cases basically. You have, on the one hand, you have the huge data set that you gather and you need to sort of work with, and that's so big that it's impossible to manually let's say sort and validate. And the other thing being, of course, what you just mentioned, your customers' sales processes. So maybe that's something you want to talk about a bit. How does it play into what you're doing? This concept of AI, ML.
Yes. I think you're right, Mikko, about people talk about machine learning, neural networks, AI, all these things, and I'm not sure there's not going from a wholesale to manufacturing that wants to be a step ahead. They always mention these words. I think the real question is that how does it play in real life? As for us, what it does is more or less. So what we want to do is, I think two things where we're good at in terms of when we gather corporate data or data about the organization is the amount of data that we collect. And then our ability to extract facts about that that huge amount of data, because we all know that data as such is not very relevant. We can get that plenty enough, but it's really about what kind of data can you extract from that? Are they relevant and are they insightful? And how we do it is, of course, that we want to extract very relevant data points from that amount of data, so that the data is sort of what we call they have a value. They are like comparable, and they can be compared against some other data set. And when it fits those two criteria, then what we can do is to really learn that what kind of data points convert into which sort of business. So a typical use case would be that we have an assumption that companies that go international are more likely to convert to a company that does translations. That's something that we would guess that more or less could be so. So then we start looking on data points from our database that have a sign that this company might be one of those. So maybe a company that has just added 1 or 2 languages in their website, company that has received funding where they mention internationalization is part of their job, companies that have recruited certain domains. And then that's the first assumption. And then what we do is we see how that kind of company data set converts in the funnel into which stage. And then what we can understand is that maybe 20 of these companies have reached a certain conversion point, and then we can take that data back to our system and start understanding that what kind of data points convert into business and mirror that back to our database and use it as a continuous process sort of. So that's a very typical way of what is machine learning about.
And so for you, data that you gather, it's unstructured, right? You scrape all kinds of data from the web, not just numerical data, but press releases, recruitment, notifications, that kind of stuff. So it's all about working with unstructured data, making it structured in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of enhancing that. So one could be that if we could index, for example, the website, and indexing the website as such, it's a lot of data, but nothing is really unstructured. So then we can, when it comes structured, we can understand this is the address, this is a technology, this is an event that is about new CEO appointment, and that is something that we put back down to the database. So that's really what it is.
So what's next for Vainu? I mean, you guys, how many are you now?
I think we're 120.
120 people, and your revenue is currently...
It's in ARR we are reaching pretty close to 10 million. There's actually, I was very happy with that Axel, they had a sort of a list of the promising startups in Europe. We were listed there and we were one of the, then I checked how many companies there are in Europe that have reached from 1 million to 10 million in USD in revenue in 24 months, and there were 6 or 7. So we're
in good company.
Yeah, we're in a good company in that sense. So
well, that's really, I mean, congrats on that first of all.
Yeah, but I mean, again, there's a lot to be done.
Yeah. Well, this is really exciting. If this and the final thing is, of course, for you to pitch. If there's anything you wanna say or ask of the people watching this, where should they go to find out more about Vainu, or how can they become your customers or partners?
Yeah. Well, of course, Vainu.io is a great resource for more data, and we're happy to help. And I think when you would like to at least to explore what we do is if you want to understand more about the companies and organizations you're engaging with through data, so we can create very insightful information tailored for your causes. If that's what you want to understand, we're happy to come and just talk about it.
Great. Thanks, Pietari. It was a great chat, and thank you for the coffee.
Thank you. No worries. Bye-bye.